End it.
Yes. Hey, Dr. Plant, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
I love it. In the middle of the day, you bring hundreds of people.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I got my cameras a little wonky here, but hopefully everything's working well.
It looks perfect to me.
It does. As long as your brain's engaged, I think we're good.
Well, thanks. You two look spectacular as always. Good seeing you.
Thank
We're
you.
glad to
Happy
be here.
Valentine's Day. It's appropriate that it's a team interview.
Yeah, I tried eating these things as like a sweet tart, but apparently that's not a good idea.
Yeah, my wife gave me some with the carved in there, being like, you could do better. Like try harder.
Who is fired up for hair revival? Type in the chat. Who is excited? You guys, this is going to be a big one for us.
Big one.
Yeah. I know we've got hundreds on here live with us, and a lot are going to be watching this in review, which is great, getting ready for this launch on March 1st. And this is really to ignite, educate, and really just lay the foundation for what is going to be a tremendous product for really, I think, bringing in just a whole new group of people into Isagenix, which is great. It's inviting a whole new group of people into our store.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm pretty jazzed about it. And
Yes.
I can't really say too much other than I have more hair. I'm really pretty jazzed about this. I got these right after NYKO. I have been diligent 2 times in the morning. Well, no, 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills in the afternoon.
And I'll tell you one thing about Michael, I have to interrupt because he's very regimented. When he decides to take something, a supplement, he doesn't miss.
No.
He's one of those people with the packets of vitamins. He does not miss, Dr.
I have no PMs at the end of the month.
He has no PMs at the end of the month.
You're much better than I am. There's sometimes where it's like, oh, I haven't taken it. And I'm like, load them up right now. I've got a few days to make up for.
And I really think it was about 2 weeks in that he came to me, he said, Lynn, really, like, look at my hair.
Noticed it in the shower when I was shampooing. It literally, you know how it's wash, rinse, repeat, and they always tell you to do it twice. The second time, if you ever buy into that, it just feels different. It was like that the first time.
Yeah, really a difference. It's exciting.
I always wondered who that wash, rinse, repeat was meant for. I always wondered who was doing that.
I read the label. That's what it said. That's what I did.
Yeah, that's a huge ploy just to get you to buy twice as much shampoo.
I always love a product that's a tool in our toolbox for bringing in a whole new group of people that are continue to shop from our store. So maybe you can.
Yeah, let's
let's first introduce Dr. Plant.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he doesn't really, need an introduction.
I always come on. We've done a few interviews together, and you guys are like the only ones I come without the bow tie. I love just to kind of chew the fat with you, make it casual. We call it Dr. Plant Unplugged. So I think it's appropriate. I like the casual nature of it.
We'll say Chief Science Officer.
Chief Science Officer for Isagenix, graduated #1 in his class at Harvard University in half the time that it normally takes. And when I heard that the very first time, I thought,
that's all we need to hear.
He's just a book nerd. But then the more I got to know him, it's like,
he's the real deal. Smart.
Real deal. Smart guy.
Here's one thing I will say, just having the opportunity and really the privilege, I would say, to be able to spend some time with him is not only does he know the science, he really understands our business. And I really thank you for that, Dr. Plant, because it's really the two of us together, those of us in the field with corporate, and there's a synergy when we're working together where we become unstoppable.
It's like a mechanic who knows how to fly the plane. I mean, it's just a different depth of experience. And it's so nice when we have this opportunity to sit down and chat. So let's really get right into it. Let's just start with the most basic, fundamental question.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. In a nutshell, it's confidence in a bottle. And that seems kind of weird, but this is something that we're all plagued with to some extent. It's hair revival. It is meant and designed and formulated to help reduce hair loss and help improve hair density. Simple as that. But really what it boils down to is we do things every day that damage our hair, whether it wash twice, whether it's like using fine combs, whether it's blow drying, whether it's coloring, whether it's like, swimming, all of these things that are just absolutely damaging to our hair. We do very little love to our hair. And more often than not, it's the first thing we notice when we look in the mirror, and we just constantly beat it up. And, there's all of these different gimmicks that are out there And so this is something that we've been working on for quite some time, always looking at something that is legitimately bringing some solutions to people. There's enough hope out there, but it's also important to back it up with solutions and systems that work. And so what we have here is this is something where you take 2 capsules in the morning or 2 tablets in the morning, 2 tablets in the evening, and it helps reduce hair loss and helps improve hair density. As simple as that. So it's a powerful product that really gets what we need to do. We need to start showing a little bit more love to the lion's mane that we abuse so often.
Well, and you think about how many people color treat their hair, just that alone does so much damage. Just think about the people you know that do that. I mean, this is a great product to really help to care for it and to give some love to it, as you said.
Yeah.
Well, now, this has been an issue for a long time. You know, I mean, people from the time I was just a young man have been looking for ways to keep more of their hair. You know, we hear these crazy stories about, you know, hair transplants and just, I mean, people will go to great lengths to have a better looking head of hair. So talk a little bit about the science. What's interesting to you about this product? What's it actually doing?
Yeah, this is good. So I'm going to give a little bit of a lesson of what our hair does. Like, we don't realize our hair has life cycles. We have these follicles, and there's 3 different stages that these follicles live through. And I'm not expecting anybody to regurgitate this. Right? This is for the 313 people that are on this call listening right now. You're going to get a little bored out of your mind. But our hair follicles have 3 different stages. There's the anagen stage, which is the growth stage, right? And this will usually last about 2 to 6 years. That's why certain people can grow longer hair than others, right? Some people, it's 2 years, then the hair falls out, right? Some it's 6 years and they get the long hair. Some, you get some people that have exceptionally long hair. So some people will be like, well, my hair doesn't grow that long. Well, it's because that growth stage, that anagen stage is shorter. And this is largely due to, genetics play a big role in that, environmental, hormonal, variety of different things. So you have that growth stage. Then all of a sudden you have this catagen stage where it says, whoa, we're just going to kind of reset a little bit. And it's about 1 to 2 weeks where it literally takes us out of that growth stage and just kind of pauses. And then you have the telogen stage. And this is part where the hair follicle actually dies and then renews itself. And so that stage can last anywhere from 1 to 4 months. So if I took a typical person's head, you would see about 85% of your hair is in that growth stage. And then about 15 to 20% is in that telogen stage. And so as we age, as we do things to our hair, what happens is that telogen stage becomes a larger portion of the amount of hair. You find more of it in the sink, it's falling out. And that growth stage becomes shorter and shorter and shorter, which is why typically as you get older, your hair doesn't grow as long, you find more of it in the sink. Till eventually, some people, it gets to where that telogen stage is so long and the growth stage is so short that we look at it as bald. And so it's really just making as much of that growth stage as possible and as much of that telogen stage or that renewing stage as short as possible.
So how does the product actually do that? I mean, what is it? Are they nutrients? Are we just giving the body what we didn't have? And so we're affecting those cycles?
Yeah, I wish there was a simple way of kind of saying, hey, we're just giving something the body lacks. In today's complicated world, we have to have as much of a defense as we have against all of these environmental impacts that have us, right? The way that this works is it's a combination of kind of old and new. A lot of things that you may have heard for hair that have been proven and time tested to support healthy hair, biotin, selenium, these things are in there. But really what is also separating this is a patented new ingredient that is novel, meaning it had unique properties that it cleared based upon the function. And it's patented, and it's a unique extract that actually comes from the stamen of the banana flower. And so you talk about as esoteric of a scientist as you can get. You're finding different plant parts of different flowers and making unique extracts out of them. And what they found is that it is actually what a little bit of helps to mitigate the properties of DHT. DHT is a hormone that kind of floats around in our body that has a lot of impacts. And it helps to mitigate the impact DHT has on hair loss. And DHT is what usually strives that longer telogen stage in our life, both male and in female.
Wow. So
People want to know how to spell Telogen.
Telogen, Telogen.
There you have it.
So who's out there taking flower things and saying, I wonder what we can do with this?
All of us who didn't have friends in high school find friends in the plants, right? So
Wow, that's really, really crazy cool. So basically the dosage is 2 a.m. Do we need it with, I mean, we're going to get the technical things.
yeah.
Do I have it with my shake? Does it matter? Can I grind it up in my shake? Does it?
Yes, yes, and yes. It doesn't matter. So no to that part, but you can take it with shake, you take it with food, you can grind it up. There's only one way in which this doesn't work, and if it doesn't find its way into your body. So you got to get it into your body. That's the most important thing. And candidly, right? They're tablets. It's not the easiest thing to swallow, right? You get a little bit used to it, but so you feel free to grind it up if you so desire.
Okay.
Well, and I thought it was interesting too, when we heard that like the first 30 days, you might notice a decrease for people who have thinning hair, a decrease in the thinning. And then the second 30 days, really noticing an increase in the density. Is that true? Is that kind of what people are saying?
Correct. So there's when we looked at this, we began to see it's all kind of in a preclinical group that we saw that there was a decrease in hair loss. And now that sounds like a double negative, but really less hair in the sink, right? Which would then suggest that telogen stage is shorter and so forth. Now, the androgen stage, which allows for that longer hair growth, we start to see the impacts of that around 2 months. So really 2 months is when we'd recommend people to take this to begin seeing that impact. If hair growth happened overnight, it's most likely a transplant or a wig, right? This is utilizing your own follicles to do it. So great way to do it, increasing that androgen stage. Usually start to see that around that second month.
Okay, so now let's talk about how this is going to be incorporated into our existing product line, because
especially collagen.
Well, protein first and foremost. I know the hair needs protein.
Mm-hmm.
We know that collagen has done some nice things for people. So can you kind of, is this going to be like good, better, best? The product by itself, good. The product with either shake or collagen, better. The product with all three. Walk us through that.
Yeah. So the way that we look at this, right? You can take this. We've looked at stuff with this independently. We're actually in the middle of a much bigger study where we look at this in combination with collagen elixir. And the reason is collagen is a structural component of your skin. And so it helps to nourish those follicles a little bit better. Again, allowing that anagen stage, that growth stage of your hair to do it. That's why individuals might see longer hair and so forth. This is a powerful 1-2 combination with the collagen elixir. And to me, there's no good. There is no good. This is better. And then the best is with the collagen elixir. Oh, you're muted, but they're doing the Vanna White on the mute.
Yeah.
There
Okay.
you go.
All right. Now, we have to talk to the Americans here for just a moment. So apologize to everyone else in the world, but just for the Americans, we know that if a little is okay, if a small amount is good, then a larger amount is better. Or as I once, read a quote, they said, if less is more, try to imagine how much more would be. And so, it's 2 a.m, 2 p.m, but collagen, we've been told we could double dose.
Yeah.
We know we can take 1 shake a day, or we can take 2 shakes a day, and we're going to get a better benefit with 2. So
That's a good question.
is this like that where it's scalable, or do we reach a level of diminishing return where we're just not going to get anything more out of the product?
So you would likely get a little bit more. Now, again, we haven't looked at it specifically, but theoretically, you should see yourself getting better results. And it's a little bit of like a diminishing returns, right? You'd love to see a linear growth to where the more I take, the better it is. And, you go from this to some, I'm flowing my hair very quickly. Not, right? All things in nature kind of follow a logarithmic pattern, right? Where you can see much better benefits initially. But then obviously you get diminishing returns, you start to plateau a little bit. And so if you took a little bit more, you should still be kind of in that logarithmic growth before it kind of plateaus type space. And
then that's going to bring us to the next question they're going to ask. What does that mean? Is that 3 a.m. and 3 p.m? Is that
you could be fine doing that. I wouldn't recommend much more than that. Again, right? Because really the power in this is in the longevity, not in the dose. It is in that longevity, especially when you're dealing with hair follicles, which have a longer turnover time. Again, we're talking on the magnitude of, you know, that telogen stage is 1 to 4 months typically, right? And so as you kind of do that, it takes a while. Longevity is far more important than dosage in this.
Well, and that was a question that was asked in the chat about, if you start to see hair growth, do you need to take it forever? And so you kind of answered that, but with the different stages, you would need to continue to feed that in those different stages, right?
Yeah, and this is where people always ask, do I need to take it? Do I need to take it forever? In the natural world, the answer is always going to be yes. Your body is a giant factory that takes in raw materials, and the output is energy. Right? That's really what we are. We're just a giant factory that consumes stuff, and the output is energy, cellular energy, right? It allows us to move and to think and to do all those types of things. That is the basis. And so you could imagine where people are like, hey, I take it once, I'm good. No, again, that's usually plastic surgery, right? It's the equivalent of saying, if you eat this magical bean, you'll never be hungry again. Run away from those types of beans, right? Like typically we see everything in nature requires cyclical movements, and you have to constantly nourish that. And so that is one, again, I don't like the word forever supplement. I look at it as a replenishable nutrient that we constantly have to replenish.
Well, that's a really good way to look at it, because obviously if we want to get in shape, we know that takes a certain amount of effort, but you can't get in shape and stay there. There's going to be maintenance. You can't take a shower and say, okay, I'm clean, I'm done. Certain things, they just go on.
Yeah. Other than that awkward tattoo I have on my lower back that seems to stay forever, everything else seems to go away. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any tattoo on my lower back.
I'm just addressing a few of the other questions before we move on. But March 1st, where will it be launched? And then what are the plans for the other countries?
Yes, so March 1st, it is launching in the United States. We will be able to do NFR into Canada. Now, the reason is usually we like to give a timeline as well of when the product will be Canada. These little buggers, because they are utilizing literally a novel ingredient, we had to work through a variety of different government agencies to get this approval, because it is such a unique extract from that banana flower that you have to go through different safety and stuff. We've done that for the US. There is no immediate time, unfortunately, for it to be on the ground in Canada. So it'll be just a not for resale product, because it does require, it's not us registering an already known ingredient. This is an award-winning patented novel ingredient in the United States. And so it will be initially in the United States, most likely to follow in Australia and Europe, and then eventually into Canada.
Wow.
There's quite a few questions in the chat that are discussing certain conditions, certain diagnoses, medical conditions that we know can usually lead to loss of hair. A couple people have mentioned, treatment for cancer and things when people can lose their hair. And I'm sure with just all the questions going in there, I'm sure this is going to be a question that's going to come up often. And how would you answer those?
Yeah, again, with those types of general, or I don't want to say general, those types of specific instances, it's tough to speak on, right? And again, right, when you talk about like chemotherapy, the reason that is because chemotherapy is designed to attack fastly dividing cells. That's this, right? So individuals who are going through specific medical conditions like that, I just usually recommend them to contact their health care professional and see what they recommend.
Right, because it's just a completely different thing than what the average healthy person is going through.
Yeah. And it's so hard because everyone is very unique, especially when you're going through certain health challenges like that. Just contact your healthcare professional. But again, if you're going through cancer treatment, I understand the challenges with the hair, but we did not design it for that type of.
What about ages?
It's designed for 18 plus.
Okay, very good. And walk us through a timeline of about a year. Say you've got a group of people. What can they expect? Month 1, quarter 1, 2, 3, 4. What's happening at the end of a year with a product like this? Is it just continues to work with those cycles of growth?
Yeah, so there's 2 avenues that we have, right? As we kind of work through this, one is you're going to have the natural cycle of individuals where you lose hair. So you might be diminishing the rate at which that hair loss is happening. Additionally, as we saw, right, we saw 34% a 34% increase in hair density, to where individuals can also see thicker, fuller hair. And so as that goes over the course of a year, again, speaking my goal, I'm giving my mathematical thing of how nature usually works, right? This logarithmic, you will start to kind of plateau of where you see that benefit that's happening. And that's because you've largely fulfilled the mechanism for that type of hair loss that's happening. And so, but it'll be that kind of that maintenance thing that's happening. And I would estimate probably around month 6 is where that kind of result is. And then you're in maintenance mode.
Okay. So then from that point forward, really, you're not going to start, your hair's not going to get so thick, you know, it just like takes over.
Yeah, we're not revivaling the great 1980s movie Teen Wolf, if that's what you're worried about.
Well, speaking of that, how does it know not to put it here?
That's been, I'm noticing people.
This
type
is
it
probably
in
the
like,
most frequent question. And this is what marvels.
I don't want
This
hair
is
going out my
absolutely-
ears.
Yeah. This is where we are in science that is crazily, we still don't know. There's a lot of things that we see every day, and we really have no understanding yet of how it works. It's mind-boggling, right? We didn't even know about Teutonic plates until about 35 years ago. We were just wondering what was going on, right? The same holds true. DHT, right? The thing that causes baldness is also does the opposite. So, for example, people are like, so if I take this to help hair growth, am I going to start seeing like this? No. It's actually a little bit of the opposite. And so, you know, you might have a little bit less hair in that area, in those different areas. This part runs by itself compared to the rest of the body, right? It is actually one of the most emerging parts in biology right now of knowing how do certain areas of the body know where to be. And so it was a good portion of what I did my work on, right? How does this cell know where to be this cell and what's up from down? And so it is a fascinating part of science. We still don't know yet, but this works much different than this. So we really don't know how yet.
You gotta love the human body. That's
good to know, because, you know, too much plucking, you know, it's just
Yep, so you should be fine.
But for the male pattern baldness, this is help with that.
Yeah, this is largely the typical route that is, and helps with that, right? And a little bit of a side note for individuals with prostate, it's a great prostate support with that as well.
really now that's another question I wanted to find out. Are there any other benefits other than hair?
Yeah, so we haven't looked specifically at that, but DHT is the primary responsibility of kind of that prostate challenges that people see later in life. And so it's a great support for that as well.
That's incredible. Well, and then just to connect it again with collagen, because I saw a question, you know, the collagen, of course, has the biotin, and we've noticed just with a lot of testimonials with hair, but now to actually have the hair product with Hair Revival, what is it in the Hair Revival that takes collagen to another level? I mean, they're great together, but what takes it to the next level? Where someone say, oh, well, I'm taking collagen, I don't need the Hair Revival.
Completely understandable. And so when we look at this, collagen is like the bricks to the building. And what this is doing is it's making sure we're not bulldozing those bricks as frequently. And so we're needing both mechanisms. Our body is turning over, right, to where we can grow that. And that collagen is largely the support material. And so this is making sure that the resources are allocated to more effectively build that building. And I wish I could have a simpler way of doing it, but it's really saying, hey, we got all the structural components, the bricks, but we're also needing to make sure we have the energy and we're directing the vehicles to actually construct those bricks. So the Hair Revival is largely directing some of that energy to go into our hair, and the collagen is providing that structural component to make sure it does it as powerfully as possible.
Nice. Well, and I know, I can't remember if you said this in the very beginning, but I think this is important just from a business building perspective, is that the supplement area for hair, isn't it is the fastest growing?
It is one of the fastest, if not the fastest. It is absolutely taking off. And it's not just to, you know, the Michael Klauses and the Dr. Plants of the world, where we're just hoping to still have something flow in our midlife crisis mobiles, right? That's not the case. It's actually the fastest growing segment of this is women in their 20s. Where they're looking to have thicker hair. Yeah. So
that's my daughter. I'm telling you, she's 23 years old and she was all over it. And I was able to share a testimonial of one of the leaders in our group that said in just a matter since NYKO, so about a month, just how much bright, shinier, stronger. She said she could tell a dramatic difference in her hair. So I shared that with my daughter and she said, okay, that's all I needed to hear. And I'll take those tablets, 4 of them twice a day. So I can definitely speak for that for my 20-year-old daughter. It's all about their hair. Yeah.
Yeah. And I see if something pop up here, stress related. For individuals that are looking specifically at the stress related, I'd recommend this, obviously with the de-adaptogen elixir.
Mhm.
Yeah, very, very nice. So who's the market? You're the person who kind of put this together.
Mhm.
Who should we be talking to about this? I mean, the simple question
Yeah,
should be anybody
so-
that has hair, but
Yeah. Yeah. So mammals, individuals with hair, so it's the biggest demographic we've ever conquered. No, so there's a couple of things. One is it's not like, as I said before, the Michaels and Joshes of the world who are just hoping to get a few more like years out of our midlife crisis, but it's also for individuals who are looking to get thicker hair, right? And we don't think about this a lot, but women and men, and very much this is the center of our confidence, right? We can usually, put on the jacket and hike up the pants a little bit and put on, Spanx or something to hide the insecurities that live under our clothes. But it's not as easy. And so it's a real way of kind of setting that first impression. This is the smile more often than not that people see first. And so it's helping individuals have that confidence that much more. And it's not just for individuals who are losing hair, but realizing the amount of damage that they put towards their hair each and every day, whether it be the swimming, the coloring, the blow drying, the shampooing, the whatever, that they are doing it as a way of also preventative health for the hair.
wow.
I love the confidence aspect. I mean, just the emotion, the emotion that is attached to that and what we're able to give people to have that confidence. And, we're able to help people look better and feel better, but even have that confidence with their hair, whether they're younger or older, or whether they're male or female. And I would just recommend, for all of us to just start putting those little teasers out, on your social media, when you're talking with people. You never know who's watching. The other day, I was talking about collagen on my Instagram stories and just talking about what I felt like it was doing for my skin, hair, and my nails. And I said, oh, by the way, we have this product coming. And I got 3 different messages. And one of them was from someone who had never purchased from me before, purchased the collagen now, and she's first on my list for hair revival. So people are they're like, what do you have? Because it's something kind of new and unique. They're not really hearing that. There's some different collagen out there, of course, not like ours, but you really connect that in with hair revival. We've got a real winner here. And I just want you to think that it's not just a supplement in a bottle. This is a really big deal that we really believe thousands of new people will pour into Isagenix.
Yeah, we're excited. March can't come soon enough. What's the launch date again?
March 1st.
That's fantastic.
March 1st. You want to mark your calendars, and we're going to be doing another interview with the amazing Dr. Gump. And then we also have another interview with Sarah Richter, with Kathy Savage right before the launch to really help you with verbiage and things. So you're really going to want to stay tuned with Revival University, where we're sharing lots of helpful tips and hints for really understanding this amazing product, how to really guide people in and attract people in, what to say, and how to really lead with this amazing product.
Yeah, and just to kind of bring it on home and kind of wrap this up, if you had 30 seconds or a minute to just share with a prospect about this product, what would you leave them with? What would you want them to know in that just short period of time?
Yeah. What do I want them to know, or how would I myself pitch it?
How would you present it? Yes. What would you share with someone that causes them to say, okay, give me that?
Yeah. We get out of the morning each and every day and we apply lotion to our skin. And what are we doing to actually nourish the hair? The thing that we beat up time and time again. And utilizing a patented novel extract here is something that will help you decrease the rate of hair loss and also increase new hair growth to help you feel more confident and throughout the day.
Wow.
Love it.
Wow. And then we want to give them the opportunity to actually experience it. So not a 30-day, that's not the deal. We want to say, get on this for 90 days and then make up your own mind.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yep. So I don't know if we're talking about collections or not yet. I don't know. I don't know the proper strategy. I'm kind of like a little bit of a wild west out here. But yeah,
I think it's good to kind of put it out there. Why not?
Yeah. So we're in essence launching this either as a 1-month collection or a 2-month collection, meaning obviously you just get a bottle by itself if you want, or you can get 2 bottles, right? And then likewise, either 1 bottle with 30-day supply of collagen or 2 bottles with 60 days supply of collagen. And those are really where we're at. It's a 1 month supply of better or 2 month supply of better or a 1 month supply of best and a 2 month supply of best.
Wow, that's going to be exciting.
Setting us up for success.
Well, it's
setting
going to
us
bring
up
in
to
a
win.
whole new group of people for absolutely for sure, because
Yeah.
there are people out there they're just looking for something to keep this.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Plant, for working so tirelessly and giving us, because you guys, this just a little hint there. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming in 2022 with innovation and with what Dr. Plant and the team has been working on. And let's really show them what we're able to do with Hair Revival.
Right.
Because they've been working really hard there at the corporate.
Yeah,
level.
this is the first, as I said, we got 4 great things happening very quickly. And so the success of the second largely depends on the previous. And so we are looking to kind of get into some absolute momentum over the next 7-8 months. And we have 4 very orchestrated, concentrated patterns to do that. And March 1st is the first of it. So we're really excited for it.
Wow.
All right, you guys.
2022 is going to be a year. Looking forward to seeing you
Absolutely.
soon, Dr. Plant. Thank you for your time. Thank all of you for tuning in. And now
make sure your teams get this again. The recording will be in Revival University in the next 24 hours, so you can watch it again.
beautiful.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Dr. Plant.
Take care.
Bye-bye.